All right, Alexander, we've got to talk about Michael Sussman. Sussman. I don't know, Sussman. Anyway, he pleaded on Friday, on the 17th of September. He pleaded not guilty to the charge of making false statements to the FBI in an initial court appearance. So, Alexander, it looks like, and I'm going to be very sarcastic now before I pass the ball over to you, it looks like John Durham finally got the man behind all of the Russiagate stuff. Durham did a really, really good job. Good job, Durham. Good job, Bill Barr. We got our man, Sussman, is he a former attorney or a current attorney at Perkins Coie?
As I understand it, I mean, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's a current attorney at Perkins Coie.
Yeah, he is, yeah. So and he got out on $100,000. He remains out on jail with $100,000 bond, by the way.
Absolutely. I mean, can I just say, I mean, this is as you said, he's the arch mastermind of the whole scam. I mean, let's just unpack this. I mean, there is an awful lot actually in this indictment, and it is interesting, and it does tell us a few things. But let's just take a step back. We have this person who is a lawyer at Perkins Coie. Perkins Coie is a law firm, which is the law firm that is most used by the Democratic Party. It was involved in a lot of the election litigation last year. Mark Elias, who was a partner there, is a sort of major figure on American media. He's, by the way, left this firm about 3 weeks ago for no very clear reason. But anyway, this is the Democratic Party law firm par excellence. And this person, who is a lawyer there, a partner of Mark Elias, comes along and says to the FBI, well, I've got all this information provided to me by an unknown tech executive, we don't yet know who this person was, which suggests that there's this secret server which has created this line of communication, this thread of communication between Donald Trump and the Russians, all complete nonsense, by the way. And then the FBI asked him, and when I say the FBI, it was the FBI's top lawyer, a man called Baker. He asks him, well, are you actually acting for someone? Are you involved in this story in this way? And of course, Sussman says, well, actually, I know I'm not. I'm just giving you all this information as a concerned citizen. And we're asked to believe that the FBI believes this. The FBI believes that a lawyer from Perkins Coie, who happens to come along with dirt on Donald Trump 3 weeks before the 2016 election is due to take place, they just assume that, he comes along, he tells them, I'm absolutely not part of Hillary Clinton's organization. I'm not doing this on her behalf in any way whatsoever. Well, they believe that. And not only they believe that, but on the strength of that, they take his information seriously and they conduct this big, complex investigation. Well, if you really think that, if you really believe that the FBI are that stupid, they don't know that a partner of Mark Elias at Perkins Coie is acting for the Democrats and that they're getting dirt from the Democrats. Well, all I can say is I have a bridge to sell you. I mean, that's an absolutely nonsensical, ludicrous, pathetic story. Now, what we do learn from this indictment is the extent to which actually the Democrats were heavily involved in promoting all sorts of anti-Trump stories in the media and to the intelligence community. Amazing things about, Hillary Clinton's lawyer comes along, because that's what he was. He was actually billing Hillary Clinton's campaign for work he was doing, which involved some of these contacts with the FBI. So how he's going to defend himself, I really can't see. But that's what he was doing. So at the same time as he was providing this information to the FBI, information which he already had good reason to doubt, by the way, Hillary Clinton is busy tweeting away, telling us about this secret server between the Trump campaign and the Russians and all of that sort of thing. So we see the extent to which Clinton campaign is behind Russiagate. But who does Durham go after? Well, not Hillary Clinton, obviously. Not Jake Sullivan, who, by the way, is now National Security Advisor for Joe Biden, but he was then National Security Advisor for Hillary Clinton, and he was also busy promoting this story about the secret server and publishing all these big statements. So they don't go after him. They don't go after any of these people. They go after this particular lawyer. And of course, do they go after anybody in the FBI? At that time, headed by that, peerless investigator, that person of, unflinching integrity, James Comey. Well, of course, they don't go after him either. They go after the paw of the cat instead of the cat. This lawyer, who will probably, in the end, like the previous lawyer, get a slap on the wrist. They're not going to go against anybody important at all. So we've had some information. It's given us some indications of this story of how centrally involved the Clinton campaign was in creating Russiagate. I'm sure none of us are surprised about that. But in terms of its bigger implications about holding people to account, well, this is totally inconsequential, and it proves, as far as I'm concerned, that no one important is going to be held to account.
Yeah. Just to add some more context, the server that we're talking about is the Alpha Bank server. So our viewers may remember that story that Trump somehow had some sort of back channel communication with a very large bank, by the way, Alpha Bank in Russia, which can prove to be complete fiction. Pure fiction, a complete
absolutely.
lie.
I was getting spam emails, something of that kind. I mean, this was part of some vast, sinister, secret link. But anyway, there you go.
So dumb. So nothing's going to happen to the Clintons. There's some people that are saying, some analysts, oh no, they finally got the connection to the Clintons. Nothing's going to happen to the Clintons. Nothing to the Comeys or anybody.
No.
So my question is this: two questions. Number one is, why did they even decide to go after? And I use that word lightly, go after Sussman. I mean, what's the reasoning? Is this a PR thing? Is this just kind of to say, look, we're doing something? Is this all optics? Why even bother going after this guy? I mean, I don't quite understand it. And my second question is Durham even a real person at this day? I mean, is he a real person, or is this some sort of Mifsud type of fiction as well?
Well, to answer your first question, I think it's all three of the things you said: optics, PR, and to show, that they're actually coming up with some indictments. So, I mean, what Durham is doing is he's going after the small fry, and notice that he's going after small fry outside the intelligence community. He's not going for any of the people in the FBI. He's not going against, the McCabe's, for example, or anybody like that. He's going after these small operators who were doing the work on the coalface for the big people on top in the Democratic Party. And the FBI itself, well, he actually tells us in the indictment that this man Sussman actually fooled them. They didn't understand that he was actually working for Hillary Clinton. The mighty FBI doesn't know that Perkins Coie has a connection to the Democrats. I mean, the fact that he comes up with that absurd claim tells me that he's going to protect the FBI. And this is what this is all about. That ultimately, this is not about getting to the truth. It's about protecting the FBI, throwing the blame on some people in the Democratic Party machine, the small fry, the little people, the people on the coalface. They're going to face the music in some small way, and the FBI itself will come out supposedly endorsed, and we're going to hear about, how a couple of mistakes were made, but ultimately everybody there acted throughout in complete good faith. And that's what we're going to hear from Durham. And is he a real person, or is he a myth? Is he a hologram, or is he a real face? I am frankly starting to wonder myself.
Have you ever seen him speak?
I've never
An interview?
heard him speak.
I've seen like 2 photos of the guy. That's it.
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't even seen pictures or film of him before he was appointed. I mean, he was supposed to be the attorney in Connecticut. I mean, as far as I can tell, he's the invisible man. He's both invisible and silent. I am, I have to say, I do wonder, frankly, about who exactly this person is. And think about something else. We're how many years now into the Durham investigation? I mean, it was all started in 2019? 2 years, 3 years now?
3 years.
And
the Russiagate saga is what now? 5 years?
Well, I know, quite, yeah, exactly. And he's produced 2 indictments. One of this FBI lawyer, Klein Smith, who was let off, as I said, with a slap on the wrist, and he's come up with this one. I mean, you have to peer through a magnifying glass through this indictment to find, the real details there. And this is all he's come up with. This is all he can show for all this work he's done up to now. I mean, this isn't a real investigation. This is a show. It's optics.
We probably
it's what you said, optics.
It's optics. We probably done. Actually, there may be a little bit more after listening to you. We may have done maybe 100 plus shows on Russiagate. I don't even know how many shows we did.
I know.
I think we may have mentioned Sussman like once or twice. Yeah. I mean, he was as small a bit player as you can get. This is like having a movie, a movie studio, a movie crew, and this is like the help of the key grip of that movie crew. That's how big player this guy was. Yeah. So after listening to you, is it fair to say that this is about optics and all this stuff, but is this also just about kind of just tying this all up and just saying, look, Sussman, you're going to take the fall. You're going to get a slap on the wrist. We'll reward you on the back end. Don't worry. We'll make you sit on the board of like Netflix or something. But
absolutely.
This is how we're going to tie it up. The FBI is, gosh, golly, gee, we just didn't know. That's going to be the FBI's way out. We just didn't know that this guy was a lawyer or that he was working with the Clintons. How could we possibly know? Gosh, golly, gee. That's going to be how the FBI gets its way out. Yeah. The Clintons, no one's going to talk about them because it was this one rogue lawyer, and that's it. Russiagate is now tied up. Finito.
Absolutely. Well, that's exactly. I mean, the interesting thing about this indictment is that it gives the impression that Sussman did work all by himself. I mean, he was obviously part of a law firm, but, nobody else in the law firm is apparently involved in this affair, nor, of course, is the Clinton campaign. And the FBI believed him. They believed his story when he told them that he was not acting for the Democrats or for the Clinton campaign. So, I mean, the FBI is completely, naive and innocent and, unworldly, and Perkins coy themselves. Well, there's no reason to suspect anything there. And, the Hillary Clinton campaign, well, I mean, they weren't fooled, they weren't part of this in any conceivable fashion. So, as you said, a rogue lawyer acting by himself. Well, I mean, it's like, you have the whole cast of Cleopatra or one of the Cecil B. DeMille movies, and you go after the person who, in the 4th scene, waves the fan. I mean, it's on that level.
Yeah, and Elias has moved on.
So Elias has moved on, exactly. So there we go.
It's all done. It's all tied up, and that's that.
Yeah, exactly.
What an end to the biggest one of the biggest scandals in American history. What a way to tie it up.
Well, exactly. And, it is a great shame because, of course, this is a real scandal on a scale like nothing that the United States has ever been through before. And we should not forget that or overlook it. This is a big event. Russiagate was a big event. There was a conspiracy in Russiagate, but it targeted Trump. It wasn't anything to do with Trump himself. He was the victim, pure and simple. And so were several other people who had the bad luck to be associated with Donald Trump in some way.
Yeah, the fact that we're not getting to the bottom of this, and we're not bringing the right people to explain themselves, is I think it's going to do damage to the United States
Oh,
for
absolutely.
decades and decades to come. I mean,
Well, of course,
irreparable damage.
well, of course it is, because of course all of these people who've done this terrible thing in the media, in the intelligence community, in the Democratic Party, know they did it, and they know they got away with it. And what prevents them from doing the same again? Nothing. In fact, and of course, when you start to do this sort of thing, once you do this all the time, I mean, if I can just say, there is a direct connection between what has just happened and General Milley picking up the telephone and going behind the chain of command and talking to the Chinese. I mean, the one is directly connected to the other.
Yeah. The day the day law and justice died in the United States. I think
Absolutely.
you could say it's Russiagate.
Absolutely. And and there are farcical and absurd aspects to this, but there is ultimately this is very serious and very sad matter.
We'll leave it there. Guys, go to the Duran.locals.com. It is free to join. We got all our videos there and a whole lot more. I mean, just a lot of content that you'll find on the Duran.locals.com. A lot of verboten content that we cannot talk about or share on big tech. So the Duran.locals.com, you'll find a link underneath this video down below. Super U, Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute. That's the new media platforms where you can find our videos as well. And Alexander, the Duran Shop, 10% off when you use the code.
Absolutely.
Real news.
Real news.
All right. Take care, everybody.